FS has been fighting MAP and DoRa again, finally in the Afrian zone for the fight of the Flame Dragon. And I've been able to participate. We've been in the open field, and I'm going to cover a load of fights here, basically, in the day that we've been fighting, and give you all of that coverage for you guys. So enjoy today's gameplay side of the War of Afrian with FS taking on DoRa and MAP. Hello guys, yes, smash a like, comment and subscribe for more daily videos here on Call of Dragons. Since we do obviously cover this game, still we're not just disappearing, and I'm not going to leave you guys stranded since you guys love the content here. But it is zone time, and it was the 15th of March when this all went off. I was going to try and live stream it, I do apologise, I've not been feeling very well. To be honest, I've been throwing up quite a lot, so it's not been ideal, but we've been able to fight, and we've been able to record some of the fights as well in the starting area. So what we're watching here is the early fight of the day when we was recording, and this is basically FS versus a bit of DoRa on the top side, and I've been enjoying these top side fights when we've been going into the open field, because it is really interesting when we are going into territory, because a lot of players are doing things that I would always say, do you know what, you should have learned by now. And this is basically staying on territory, because a lot of the time you'll see even DoRa do a really good W for this. Basically, they're able to push us off territory, and instead of like just our guys retreating south. So if we pause the video and try to explain this visually with the live draw feature, you'll understand what I'm talking about, because with the ability to just move south, you're gonna have that nice, you know, ability to have the territory, right? And having that territory buffed out for your alliance is going to give you the edge in PvP. And a lot of players forget this, and a lot of players actually walk differently, or they don't listen to voice comms, and they're not listening to chat when it comes into it. And we can showcase this now with the live draw feature, right? So what we're looking at is, like, we have this beautiful, to be honest, line on both sides, right? Actually really good line to look at, right? But when we are actually looking at the way we can move, you would expect any of the FS players to actually move in a south position, right? Because this is clearly where you can see the road is leading, right? So you know there's a flag south, and it's going to be safe, and if you keep moving south, you're going to be on territorial buffs, right? But sometimes what happens, and this is honestly a really good thing from DoRa though, forcing this issue, they're able to create this wall which actually starts to wrap more south like this. And by doing this, it's actually causing these top players to get into this separation where they don't feel they have the ability to move down and get into the safe zone, because for some reason they'll move off territory, and by doing that, you'll notice a lot of the time the DoRa and the map players group up and push these guys and get some really good positive trades on their end. And that is a really good thing on them, right? And we need to discuss this and be fair and crucial for both sides, right? Because if you're not doing the basics, I would say, in combat, you're gonna lose. And here you can see now, when we zoom out, obviously we have the numbers advantage. And DoRa are doing the same thing. So DoRa now, instead of fighting or moving back onto their territory, they purposely are fighting in this little zone here, right? And if you look and I draw it all out, anyone in this gap right now is basically not getting any territory buffs. So anyone here, guess what? You're gonna get absolutely shredded by anyone in this FS murder ball or this one that's aiming in on you guys. So this is like one thing I do want to just say, like, look, this is showcasing the same strategy, but now FS doing it on the DoRa guys, and they're getting punished so hard for doing this, and they're getting really bad trades, guys. You have to actually admit this is really bad trade on the DoRa side, and this is what you're going to see happens though both teams, right? So FS does this against DoRa MAP. MAP and DoRa do this plenty of times as well against FS. So it's really good that, you know, both sides are implementing this strategy and actually forcing players off territory. And I want to stress that in this first gameplay, how important it is to stay on territory, because now you're going to get into this situation and you're going to start seeing players like Twinklesaurus here just getting absolutely targeted if anyone decided to, and he will get melted. And as soon as he gets targeted, he needs to run, and he does so, right? And you can see anyone now on this FS side who come into no man's zone here is just getting obliterated. They are getting obliterated, guys, because they are not having any territorial buffs. And this is what we're talking about in the first gameplay for the FS and MAP DoRa War. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far, and it's been very understandable, and you've learned, hopefully, from me explaining it and reiterating it from now, that it's in your brain. I need to drill it into you guys. You can't be doing this stuff on either side, right? And even if you're not in either of these alliances and you're learning, you can't be doing this, guys. This is not good at all. So let's go into some other gameplay, because we do have the fast forward feature, as we do enjoy on this channel. And if you look on this fast forward feature, it is just going to be a back and forward push, and you will see DoRa going into the no man's land and, you know, getting punished, right? So we've seen this beautiful back and forth where both sides are going and doing the bad thing and the good thing at the same time. So I thought it was a beautiful bit of gameplay, very neutral, showcasing the pros and the cons for both DoRa and MAP, as well as FS in this topside war. So let's go into some more gameplay footage that we was able to cover in this war. So later on in the evening, as you can see, if you keep an eye on, I'd say that side on the top left or top right corner of the screen, you can sometimes see the timing. We have development, right? So DoRa was able during the early phases to build all the way around to the same plateau that we are in, and able to now drop a really close flag. And this close flag is just above me. I'm kind of blocking it, but it's allowing them to, as you can see, get that little space, this little space of extra territory. And it's very crucial that they're able to do this, because it does give them teleport space. And this is kind of the next feature that we're going to talk about, is teleport space, while this insane push is going on from FS here to try and stop them from building this flag. Because if we take a pause of this area right now, we get a great understanding of what is on basically the table for DoRa. Because DoRa now are able to, as you can see, get this little extra territory that is dotting all the way up, right? And by doing this, they're able to easily now get a city here, 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 potentially. If they push this guy out, they could also, you know, you can see where I'm going with this, right? They can just fill now this entire zone with a nice amount of towers, or cities, should we say. And by doing this, with all the cities, they're allowing them to jump in and out, allowing them to break people's rage meter, getting good trades. Also, it allows them to have really, really good refresh timers when they're coming to, obviously, do pushes like these flags. So if they really wanted to, once they've got this zone, they could try and attack our flag and destroy it, right? So it's very crucial that we don't allow them to. So you can see this is kind of what's on the table. And what we're doing here is the simple push with the Goresh Skullgirl Rally. It's one of the most meta things you could be doing right now. If you're not doing this in your PvP, I don't know what to say, because you're kind of slacking a bit. But the Goresh Skullgirl Rally is fantastic. It allows you to get in. It's a new front line without having, you know, to dedicate all your infantry in the actual field, which is good. But now we have our mages out. And you can see I've got my mages out. We're using triple mages here. And we are targeting all of the people out of position. So you can see Black's Knight is out of position here, and he's getting instantly targeted by everyone and melted. And I am aiming to try and kill these guys on the top, because again, they are so out of position that they do not understand that they can't do this, right? So we've been killing those guys. We see an infantry player running in, and I'm just going to say, if you're a T4 player, you need to be targeting the infantry. It sounds a bit sad, I know, but you're not T5. You haven't got the luxury to kind of look and aim for anyone you want, because if you hit a T5 player, you're going to hit some bad sevens, I'm telling you. So always try and target the infantry first, and then after, once there's no infantry on the field, you kind of want to target the closest enemies to you that you can clearly see is taking a bunch of damage from other players, because that means you're not going to take nowhere near as much damage, and it's going to get them killed so fast if there's obviously multiple players all focusing down that same target. So you can see this is a very successful push. We were able to push these guys off their flag all the way down the ramp, which was great. And the thing is, DoRa was able to obviously come back from this later down the line and obviously try and poke and push back up. Obviously, they take time to refresh. I'm just showcasing here this small refresh timer. So you can see here, they are building up slowly. They're building up slowly, but they are fighting on the ramp. And then they will be coming bigger and bigger. And then this comes to a point where obviously we are just melting them because they're not gathering quick enough, or they're not gathering, what I would suggest, deeper. Because the problem is, when you're gathering up onto this ramp, you can imagine we are nicely spread out, but you guys are nicely clumped up. And the beautiful thing is, which happened later on, which is going to be the next gameplay, you know, you can just gather deeper and then push in with all of the might, which is a lot stronger for you guys. So let's go into the next footage, and I hope you guys have been enjoying this first day coverage of the war. You can see this was around 20 past 11 at night, so I was just gaming, but I was backwards and forwards, so I do apologize for not live streaming. But let's go into the next clip of the day. And here we are, and I enjoy this because you can see here we was able to basically do as much work as we can, but DoRa was successful. They was able to build this flag and get that extra little bit of territorial space in their favor, which is a great W for them. Again, explaining why in the previous clip, because of the territorial space they're able to get for TPs and get those T5 players on the front lines. But you can see here, we are obviously trying to defend our flag now, because as I assumed, if they're able to get this nice reinforcements, they have no reason to not attack our flag. And you can see they did some really good damage already on our flag. So we're able now to bring our troops and help our alliance defend this thing, right? Because we do not want this to be broken down at any point, because this could be a detriment potentially in the future or the longevity of this KVK, because you don't really understand, like, territory is massive in this game. If they're able to build a flag and cut across, they can do some nasty things to our territory. So this is going to be a very crucial fight that we're going to have to go over. And we can see here, basically, I'm looking around and I'm playing the patience game. And I'm going to do a video specifically on the differences on fighting in this screen compared to the dot mode screen, because there is an advantage and a clear advantage in one of those versions compared to the other. And honestly, if you're a new player, I think you need to know this, otherwise you're going to be suffering when it comes to playing PvP. So here I'm rocking a quad mage march, yes, and I am running Arcane Torrent. So if you're wondering what I'm running here, I've got my marches split up. So it's like Lilia with Alwyn, I have my Valen with a Wild Deer, I have Bertrand with, I believe, my Indis, or no, with my Fear, and then I have my Atheist with my Indis. So it's kind of like a rage gen support with the Atheist single damage, and more importantly, inflicting the Infirm, right? So I'm rocking 4 mage marches here, and you can see, honestly, it does some decent work when people are out of position. But what we have to do here is play very, very smart, because we don't want to be drawn into too close to their territory. Because if you do, you're going to get tagged in really, really quickly. You're going to get melted, and it's not fun for anyone when it comes into this game, right? So if we go into, we can see now other players from DoRa doing the same thing. They're kind of stepping out of line, and you can see them now gaining a little bit of momentum, and they are trying to get troops forward to push us, right? And we can see us absolutely, I'm just saying, melted. Just melted. Not even close, right? Just obliterated, unfortunately, for that poor infantry player. And more of them are slowly peeling. And this is basically a summary of today's video, right? And this is why I've kind of put this video in the way I've done it, where you can understand in segment 1 about, you know, you need to be in territory and you can't be overstepping, right? A lot of positional awareness is needed when it comes into PvP. And then in segment 2, we went over, obviously, the territorial gain and the, obviously, worry if DoRa gets this flag. And we can see now in segment 3, all of this kind of coming together, where we have this line where both territories are touching. So there's obviously clearly no man's zone. But if you're too close to the enemy, you're gonna get absolutely obliterated. I'm saying it. And even for me, if I step forward here, this isn't worth the trades, right? I'm trying to specifically pick players that are really overextending, or if there's some players on my alliance that are clearly pushing forward, right? And this is kind of a patience game. This is when you're playing T4. This is what you have to do, guys. And a lot of players aren't willing to do this, because you can see, obviously, here on screen, we have, obviously, these other players fighting away, right? But these are most likely more T5 oriented players, so they can get away with playing a lot more aggressive, right? So what we need to do is just play a lot more safer and wait for our opportunity, because I promise you it's gonna come. And if you just wait and wait, and you can see, here it comes, right? We just fast forward the time. We did our beautiful time skip feature that we have, and they are now pushing with infantry and everyone to try and take our flag. And we haven't wasted any troops poking unnecessarily, and now we are hitting at full power. And the beautiful thing, if you've got Arcane Torrent to the talent, and you're running something like, you know, quarter march like I am with all mages, guys, I've been stood there for clearly a couple of minutes, and I have already had over 3/4 rage bar already, right? So I do some insane quick bursts immediately onto those targets without really needing to, you know, charge up. And now you can see me just repositioning and playing appropriately, right? I have one of my marchers getting targeted, so what am I doing? I'm just moving until I don't get targeted. I'm looking at now the battlefield to see how it looks. And now we are retargeting a new march, right? We are now trying to re-adopt. We can see now this cavalry is coming in. So we are retargeting. And we just keep repositioning, retargeting. And we're in a nice cubby, right? No one sees me in here. I'm in a nice little position. I'm doing some good damage. And I'm peeling back onto our territory. Because now, as you can see, if we pause it, all of these players, they're on our zone. They're not on their zone. So again, they have no DoRa Alliance tech buffs. So these are going to be really good trades for me as a T4 player against them, right? So this is where you can actually kind of play a little bit more aggressive if you want to, but you still want to play within the murder ball. And you can see that's what I'm kind of doing. I'm trying to listen to voice comms because we are on Discord while we're doing this. And immediately as soon as I get, you know, targeted, look, I'm just out and they know they can't target me. So they just stop, right? And now I'm going on the infantry. I'm melting all of the front line. I'm not letting that front line do anything. It lets me get some, honestly, free merits as well, which is really important. And then afterwards, because there's no front line, guess what? We just kill the back line. And this fills up their hospitals so much. And you can see this discipline, this front line, and this, honestly, massive murder ball that they sent to us, but we're fighting on our terms. And this is kind of, like I say, a great conclusion to segment 1 and segment 2, right? You can see why this is what I've structured it in segment 1, 2, and 3, because you can learn now all of this gameplay, and you can re-watch this, you know, and you can understand what I'm talking about, how we're pulling these players into our territory on purpose, right? Because we want them to be on our territory, so we have all the buffs and they have 0 buffs, right? Even if they've got more troops, having more buffs is actually so important, because you can see I'm able to hit Cork here, and I believe Cork is a T5 player. I know he's stronger than me, I am melting him with all my quad mages, right? I'm just swarming him down. And that's the beautiful thing about this. And this is just, you know, showcasing, look, if you've got coordination, you've got voice comms, and you know what you're doing, you're able to actually fight and destroy larger enemies if you just peel back and peel back correctly. Because now we're getting to that stage where it is a bit sketchy, I will say, because we are slowly getting to the point where we're pushed back so far, we're going to get off territory. But we don't hold it, you know. We hold it where we are, and we're going to let them, you know, try and push us here, but it's not going to happen. And we're just absolutely punishing, as you can see, these guys that are just walking in one by one, not really thinking about it, and they're just getting absolutely nuked, guys. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's been a pleasure to commentate. It's been a pleasure to fight Map as well as DoRa. This is FS vs DoRa Day 1. I am going to showcase after this video or this segment what has currently gone on as we finish up the video. But it's been a pleasure to fight with you guys, and honestly I would have made this a little bit more scripted and stuff when it comes to commentary, but I've not felt great, guys, and I've had to obviously redo this video quite a few times. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you for the fights, guys, and I can't wait, you know, for more fights in the future. And here we are to the current day, so you guys are updated from this video, so you could have watched basically all the highlights kind of in the, you know, 1, 2, 3 segment, and then here is what the current look of our situation looks like. So what we've been watching, as you can see, was us pushing from this side up. So we were fighting here, and we've been fighting over this area, and you can see as of current, DoRa have been able to break through and have built around this area, right? So they are going around, but they're currently not doing anything as of this recording, right? But at the same time, when we cover other alliances, right, because we've been fighting so hard against 2 alliances here, TDR have been fighting HRN on this location here, and you can see HRN definitely being the victors and pushing all the way and taking all of this TDR zone, because this was all TDR prior to this, but now able to push it up, and you can see we have now kind of blocked this path, so they're not able to push it through. But it's really important, this segment, because up on the top is NE5, and NE5 were building a fortress here, and we've been able to destroy that fortress. So in an interesting war, there's a lot going on, right? We've got TDR and FS, and then we've got basically any Map and DoRa all up here. KPT now joining the fight and coming in, and then obviously HRN on the bottom, right? So it's been a really good fight so far. It's going to be more fun in the coming days. Hopefully I feel a little bit better, you know, during the week, and I can stream when we are at war. And obviously I'm going to put a little bit of a delay on for you guys, because as I've seen the DoRa boys really want to watch, you know, it's a little bit fair. But yeah, we're gonna keep streaming. So that's gonna be today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. This is the current update of the map. This is what it looks like. If you're wondering as well what I have merit wise, because I do a lot of people do ask, you can see I'm on 4.8 million merits, which is great. It means when we go into our rankings, personal merits, we are 105. We need to fight, because basically yesterday I didn't do any fighting, so I was just not feeling the greatest. And same with our personal glory, we're at 209, so I can climb this back up really well if I do some really good fighting over the next few days. So that is a nice update on my account, my merits, everything that's going on in the situation. This is our server 2308 if you want to check it out. And if you've enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Smash a like, comment, and subscribe, guys. And until the next video, stay safe, stay sneaky, peace out.